People always talk about heroes in uniforms, those who fight battles with guns, medals, and orders. But no one ever talks about the heroes who fight silent battles every day, the kind that no one sees. Like a tired single dad janitor who skips his own meals so his son never goes hungry. Or like a young soldier who hides her trembling hands because she refuses to show weakness, even though she's breaking inside. Neither of them knew that one small, quiet act of kindness in a freezing morning cafeteria would change both their lives. And that the girl he gave his last breakfast to was the one person he should never have touched. The Admiral's daughter. It was 5:12 a.m. when Daniel Torres, single dad, night shift janitor, and unofficial expert in pretending to be okay, finished disinfecting the base corridors. His boots were old, his back hurt, and his stomach ached from the dinner he had skipped the night before so his 8-year-old son, Milo, could have a full plate. The cafeteria heaters were barely working, and frost clung to the windows. Daniel stretched his stiff fingers and pulled out a small breakfast wrapped in foil, a sandwich he had saved from last night. It wasn't much, but he was used to. Not much. He sat alone, exhausted, ready to take the first bite. That was when he noticed her. A young woman in uniform stood at the counter, shoulders hunched, eyes red-rimmed from lack of sleep. She was trembling, not from the cold, but from something deeper. She looked too thin for a soldier, too fragile for military steel. When the cook told her her meal account was temporarily frozen due to administrative delay, she only nodded, whispered, "Okay," and walked away with empty hands. Daniel watched. Most people would have ignored her. Most already had. She sat in the corner, staring at nothing, wiping her eyes when she thought no one was looking. That's when Daniel noticed the bruises on her knuckles, the fatigue in her posture, and the way she pressed her lips together, trying not to break. Something in him stirred. Maybe because he knew that feeling too well. The feeling of being invisible. Of being tired but having no choice but to keep going. Without thinking, he stood up, walked over, and placed his wrap sandwich on the table in front of her. She blinked hard. "Sir, this is yours." Daniel smiled gently. "Looks like you need it more than I do." Her voice cracked. "I can't take your food." "You're not taking anything," he said softly. "I'm giving it." She stared at him, stunned, not by the sandwich, but by the kindness she hadn't expected from a stranger. "Thank you," she whispered. "Really?" Daniel shrugged. "We all have rough mornings, some rougher than others." She ate slowly, almost gratefully. And as she did, her shoulders relaxed for the first time that morning. What Daniel didn't realize was that cameras around the cafeteria were already recording the moment. And what he didn't know, what he couldn't have known, was who she really was. Because that soldier he had just fed was Admiral Helena Rourke's only daughter, Lieutenant Ava Rourke. And by noon, his simple act of kindness would shake the entire base. By midday, rumors were already spreading like wildfire. "A janitor fed her?" she cried. "Wait, that was the Admiral's daughter?" Admiral Helena Rourke, the most feared, respected, iron-willed leader in the region, stormed through the headquarters with her jaw clenched tight. She had seen the cafeteria footage. She had seen the trembling in her daughter's hands. And she saw the man, an underpaid janitor, offering her food because no one else had noticed her distress. She was furious. But not at Daniel. Not at all. She was furious that her daughter had been suffering under her watch. Ava Rourke, her pride and legacy, her only child, was falling apart silently. Meanwhile, Daniel was sweeping the hangar floor, humming softly, unaware of the storm brewing. A military officer approached. "You, janitor. The Admiral wants to see you." Now. Daniel froze. In his world, being called in by a superior rarely meant anything good. He thought of Milo, of losing his job, of the little apartment they barely afforded. When he entered the office, Admiral Rourke wasn't behind her desk. She was standing by the window, arms crossed, staring at him with a gaze sharp enough to slice metal. Ava was beside her, eyes lowered, cheeks slightly pink with embarrassment. Daniel swallowed. Ma'am, if this is about the cafeteria. Ava interrupted, voice shaking. I told her not to make a big deal out of it. But admirals don't listen. Admirals decide. Helena stepped forward. You gave food to my daughter. Daniel nodded, unsure whether to bow or salute. Yes, ma'am, she needed it. There was a long silence. A heavy one. The kind that squeezes your ribs. Then Admiral Rourke said something no one, especially Daniel, expected. You saw her. Really saw her. And you helped her when no one else bothered. That deserves respect. Daniel blinked. I just did what anyone would do. The Admiral shook her head. No. Most people don't do what you did. Ava looked up, meeting Daniel's eyes. I haven't slept in days. I failed a training exercise, and I didn't want my mom to know. Her voice cracked again. You were the first person who didn't ask anything, just helped. Daniel smiled gently. Everyone has breaking points. Strong people just hide them better. Ava breathed out slowly, as if his words untied a knot in her chest. The Admiral studied him. Mr. Torres, how long have you been working here? 6 years, ma'am. And you're a single father? Yes, ma'am. She nodded thoughtfully. Then she said in a tone that felt both command and gratitude. From today forward, you're not just a janitor. Daniel froze. Ava's eyes widened. You will be transferred to logistics. Helena continued. With better pay, better hours, and access to the support you and your son need. Daniel's throat tightened. Ma'am, I didn't do it for a reward. I know, the Admiral said. That's why you deserve one. Ava smiled for the first time that day, soft, grateful, real. Daniel didn't know it yet, but this moment was only the beginning of a bond that would change all three of their lives. And by the end of the story, it wouldn't just be the Admiral's daughter he'd saved. He would save himself too.